I'm ready to hit it. Y'all ready to hit it?
I'm ready to hit it.
Are we all ready for this?
Let's slap this like we slapped the bag at MagFest. Am I right?
Oh.
Hello and welcome to episode 99 of the Game Brew podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious beers, discuss video games, and there has been a murder in Savannah. I am your host, Ian Zion Moriarty Richard, and today I am joined by Chris Snowkeller Wrights.
This probably won't make sense for anyone, but I'm a doomsday prepper.
Dan Finn Falstaff Rotz.
It doesn't make any sense to anybody, but I'm a special effects makeup artist.
Alex Logan Dangerfield Writer.
I am the one who had the most against the person that was murdered, but I definitely was not the guy that did it.
And Will Addy Banditti Show.
I most certainly did not do it. There are cryptographic pictograms proving
There's
minuses.
proof.
On the first half, we'll review our predictions from 2020, and in the second half of the show, we'll make new bold predictions for 2021. But first, it's time for a bubbly beverage. Chris, what are we drinking this week?
So the choices were either champagne or some sort of bubbly or the champagne of beers, Miller High Life.
And some of us made better choices than others.
Like me, I took both.
I also have both.
Here we go with the bubbly. Wish me luck.
Be careful, guys. It's not beer. Allison will tell you, every year when we do this episode, and Allison's on it, she always gets too drunk because champagne.
I know, it's a little disappointing.
Champagne.
Yeah. This year, unfortunately, she's absent. We do have all of her.
Yes.
We're going to try and react as she would, too, if her things went correctly over the year.
Best wishes to Allison, who is feeling a little bit under the weather today. We love you.
Yes.
All right. So, Chris, what are you drinking first there?
Miller High Life and La Vostra Prosecco.
You're like, what I'm doing first is double fisting because 2021.
Yeah. Thank God. We made it.
We made it.
We made it.
I will toast to that.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Toast to that. Cheers
Clinky.
to this.
Hooray.
Happy New Year,
Here, I'll get
everybody.
a clink sound for us.
Ugh.
Yes.
I
Beautiful.
will say High Life is a lot better than just regular old Miller Lite.
Light.
It is. It really is.
If I recall, I shit on Miller Lite pretty hard earlier this year because it was terrible.
You never do that. No.
Yeah. This is a lot better.
Miller High Life does have more flavor to it. Like it's a malty beverage, you know?
Is it in fact a malt beverage instead of just a beer?
No, I want to say that High Life is actually a beer. It's just a malty beer.
The Miller High Life, the first couple sips, it's like, oh, it's kind of a drinkable beer. This is all right. And then the third sip, it completely dries out your mouth. I've like cotton mouth right now.
Wait a minute. No, Alex,
weird.
that's bleach. No!
I think that's by design. It's like, I got to keep drinking more of
Gotta
this
keep
to get
drinking
the
it.
wetness.
No, that's probably true, actually.
Yeah.
It's like potato chips. You got to make them dissolve immediately so that you want to put more
Let's
in your
give
mouth.
them sand.
You know, me and my mother had a conversation the other day about how there are some bags of chips that you have to finish the whole bag of when you sit down. Like,
And they're called Pringles.
that's
you
not a
do.
bag, that's a can.
Did you know that the guy who invented Pringles was so proud of the Pringles can invention that he wanted it put on his tombstone?
I mean, I would.
True story.
Seriously?
Wow.
True story, Chris. Sorry.
Wow.
I do have a fun fact about High Life.
Oh.
It was put on the market in 1903 and is Miller Brewing's oldest brand.
There you go.
Oh,
Wow.
There you go.
It actually is not bad.
I probably said that last year.
I was going to say, it sounds familiar. Have we heard that fact?
Probably.
I am drinking Raffino's Prosecco, which is
Ooh.
what champagne outside of the Champagne region is referred to as many times.
Well, it's Italian. It's Prosecco.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So this one is a product of Italy. I don't know anything about wine, but it tastes like champagne. I put it in a bigger glass because I don't actually like bubbles in beverages very much, so that it would be less bubbly. That's my review of this.
All right,
champagne.
there we go. Is it less bubbly?
The bubbles are smaller, and they're dissipating quicker than usual, which I appreciate. Will, what are you drinking?
This is something from Aldi.
Oh god.
Something
I don't
from
know.
Aldi.
It's something from Aldi.
Was it just that's what it says on the
Like chocolate milk?
something from Aldi? What?
I don't know what it is because Molly was at the grocery store. She's like, "What do you need for the podcast?"
Aldi-
I was like, "Oh, we're."
I was just gonna say Aldi is the grocery store for people who would like rather shop at a Tractor Supply. That's what I feel like Aldi is.
No.
I
don't
feel like
think
that's
so.
because you're
Aldi
on
is
the West
fantastic.
Yeah, it's only a West
Aldi is
Coast thing.
awesome.
Aldi's pretty
Yeah.
good around here. But anyway, William, continue the
Coast.
story.
I mean, it's obviously good because I've finished however full this was before we started, and I need to go get some more. It's very sweet, which is probably why I like it. I don't like.
Tastes like juice.
I don't tend to like champagne and wine and that sort of thing because it much like Alex, it dries my mouth out and I'm like, no, not having any of this. But this is pretty good. It's got a sweetness to it that I enjoy because I too am
Alex, no.
sweet.
What are you doing? Alex,
Alex, yes.
stop.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Oh,
You
no.
maniac.
This is a combination.
He's crossing the streams.
This is a half and half.
Oh my god, that's outstanding.
Half Miller High Life, half Freniette. It's a brute.
We need a name for this concoction.
Bad choices.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he likes
Oh,
it.
he likes it.
I
Hey,
think he
Mike.
likes
Oh,
it. I think he
likes
likes it.
Well, it's better than just straight Miller High Life. It's a little. It's
Well, there you go. That's an improvement.
It's the champagne pain of beers.
it's an overly carbonated Miller High Life with a little bit of sweetness on the end.
Oh boy, does that
Oh,
sound good.
Goodness gracious.
Just slam a couple of those down into a podcast. Dan, do you have a beverage over there? You drinking High Life?
I'm just drinking High Life for right now. I do have some champagne in the fridge from
Beautiful.
New Year's Eve, but I'm going to talk about the game I've been playing this
That's
week.
what I was gonna say. Then why don't you talk about the game you've been playing, Dan?
Yeah, because on New Year's Eve, we did a thing. I invited all of my best Game Brew buds and their significant others to play a murder mystery party over Discord.
Oh yeah.
Over at Dan's Discord.
It's true. He did.
I did do
We
that.
all came over to Dan's computer room.
No, they didn't. Social distance, everybody. Don't come to people's houses. That would be irresponsible. But it was really fun. I've never done a murder mystery thing before. So my girlfriend was like, oh, yeah, last year I went to a big murder mystery party and I've done all that stuff. I could have told you a bunch of stuff about it, but I didn't. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun. It was really cool to like not know who the murderer was and all this stuff. It was kind of like being a DM, but also getting to play Dungeons and Dragons instead of corral drunk cats.
That was kind of the interesting thing about this version, because I've done these before, but the last one I did, spoiler alert, I was the murderer. But the last one I did,
Surprise to no one.
we knew, like the person who was the murderer knew they were the murderer. I had no idea that I was the murderer in this version. So like the whole time people were like, it's you. And I was like, no, I swear it's not me. And then it was me.
But you just had a really good poker face then.
I have no poker face. So it was actually
Well,
really
that
good
makes for
me.
a cool immersion of experience because you didn't know and you had no tells.
So he was trying to he was inadvertently trying to push people away from him by figuring out who it was.
That's right. The problem is I was like going through the clues with everybody else and like trying to contribute and like be part of the team. Then I was like, shit, I think they're right. I think it is me.
I think I murdered a guy.
I think I may have killed this man.
But it was really fun. The one we played was called The Clock Strikes.
The clock strikes murder.
I think that's what it was.
It was.
Okay. The Clock Strikes Murder. And
it was really
through-
good.
It was through mymurdermystery.com.
Yep.
Is the website you can go to. They have a bunch of like pre-made murder mysteries. Some for like real people parties. They have some digital ones now that you can do too. But it was really fun. It was really cool.
It was super fun.
It was like New Year's themed and we all dressed up. It was great. It was great. Would highly recommend for your next friend gathering. It seemed like it was super easy to put together. Dan, yeah?
Sure.
Well, how much prep did you have to do?
It was easier to put together than having to create something myself. If I were creating it myself, it would have been way more stressful. But because it was already like planned out, and I didn't have to like put clues in the house or
Right.
move things around or get different rooms set up, like it was all in one thing. Which
Yeah.
that was pretty simple. But you have to make sure that you have one set up for the amount of people that you have. So
It's nailing down the invitations that's the important part.
yeah, so like once you invite like those people, it's like, okay, either all of these people have to come, or like at least 8 people needed to be there, and at most 12 people could have been there and still participated and like had fun in the way we were doing it.
Yeah, so we should do another one with like everyone Game Brew related, because that would be hilarious.
For sure.
It'd be huge.
So speaking of Game Brew, Chris is in the Game Brew, and he's been playing video games this week.
Man,
What a transition.
you're the king of segues.
I've been still chipping away at Cyberpunk more on like the main missions and a lot of the side missions, and they've been really good, spending less time in the open world. And so I've been enjoying that. Overall, definitely didn't reach the hype,
Yeah.
but it's, good. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to fix a lot of stuff, just like they did with Witcher 3. And so, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this game evolves with CDPR's full and undivided attention on it post-release. It's almost like it's a contender for 2021 Game of the Year. Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or even 2022.
Are you finding that the side missions are more enjoyable than the core story missions, or?
No, the core story missions are really good. It's just that I can't say that game name. As in that other game with Geralt that they made.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's in it.
Yeah, that one.
Gwent?
Yeah, that one.
Sure.
Yeah, Gwen, yeah.
Just as it was in that game, the side missions are just very well done, and it's not just a one and done a lot of the time. It might be a series of things, like a chain of events. And so like there might be still different branches of choices for even just side missions, which are really cool. Like I'm doing a really good murder, mystery, intrigue thing in that right now. Ooh.
Oh, nice. Cool.
A murder.
And tell us about Tropico 6, because I'm interested in this, having played like some factory games and some city building games. Like, I just don't understand the niche that Tropico sits in between SimCity and like a Factorio situation.
So it has a lot of tongue in cheek. Did you ever play Evil Genius?
No.
Okay, it's an older simulation game, but basically you're the presidente of a Caribbean island,
El Presidente.
a la Fidel Castro, and you have different ways of getting rid of dissidents in wholesome and less wholesome ways. But basically, like you're running an island in the Caribbean, and you can choose to be a capitalist society or a communist society or an industrial society or like a very green island or something like that. So you have a lot of control over things like that. It's all real time. It's not turn-based or anything like that, like a Civ.
Okay, yeah.
But it's been fun. I played it a lot yesterday with Tyler. We were doing a multiplayer map, so that was kind of fun. There's not a lot of
that's cool.
interaction
Right.
between me and him, though.
Oh.
We're basically we're both just on the same map. So we were like just not talking for a while because we were constantly just trying to get things done on our island. So that was kind of funny, but it's a fun game.
Can you like trade with each other's islands? Is that where the interaction comes in?
There might be. I didn't see the function though. I think that there's a way that you can. We were on a same team, and you can have other teams. So I wonder if there's like different ways you can negatively affect other people's islands.
Got it.
Yeah.
And Will, it looks like you've been busy this week.
Oh man, I've been so busy. So I think last time I mentioned Xbox Game Pass that I was trying it out and I really liked it. Well, I liked it so much. It's so polished and so well done. I wanted access to all those console exclusives that you can't get on the PC portion of the service. So I, at 4:00 in the morning, I set up some alerts, and Series S was available. So I just rolled over in the bed, grabbed my wallet, and ordered one from GameStop, and it came in a couple of 2 days after Christmas.
Wow.
And it's a Series S, as in Sam. By the way, I did not get the big boy. For the big boy, I'll get the PlayStation 5. I think for that, and I think I'm going to be totally satisfied with the S. So with the Game Pass, I've been playing a whole lot of stuff, and nothing in particular. I've just been sort of like picking through and doing things. Like I never really played the campaign of Halo games, so I've been playing through those. And there's super hard. Oh my god, the first Halo is ridiculously hard.
So much fun.
And then
though.
a smattering of other things. I turned on developer mode on the console.
Oh,
and
interesting.
have it set up as an emulator, which is really cool. Earlier, I was playing the Arc the Lad collection from PlayStation, which was super cool.
Okay.
And it doesn't void your warranty to do this at all. It's they have a developer mode built in. You pay $20, and then you can run UDP apps.
Wow.
From Windows, and it runs RetroArch, and my backed up ROM collection and everything, and it works
That's
really
cool.
great.
That's
Is
interesting.
incredible. It'll do all the way up to GameCube and probably PS2. I haven't tried PS2 yet, but up to GameCube I've tried, and it works
Wow.
outstanding.
Wow.
That's it.
It's
You'll have
really
to send
awesome.
us screenshots or something. It's nifty.
Yeah, for sure. It works great. But the game I've been really diving into the most has actually been back on PlayStation, trying to finish up the PS4 back catalog, is Assassin's Creed Unity.
Okay, so
And-
I'm interested in this.
Okay. I really like it. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game through all the way. Like, I've played them. and-
Really?
Yeah, I played some of the early ones, like the first two, and I was like, this is fun. But I grew tired of them really quickly.
Uh-huh.
And
As you do.
As
you
one
do.
does with Assassin's Creed games, yes.
But this one does a good job. I think I got tired of the gameplay because it is super repetitive in what you do. But this one does a good job of interjecting story and cutscenes frequently enough that are really interesting and engaging, to where it breaks up that monotony of the gameplay and it makes you want to keep going through it. And it's been really cool. I also really like, and I don't think they did this in the first Assassin's Creed, the actual factual historical information that they put in there, because it is, a lot of that is based on, or at least in the environment, is based on truth, and you get information about the buildings and the places and some of the people
Yeah.
that are in the game, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's something that they really leaned into after that with Odyssey in Egypt and Greece, and that was a really big deal. Chris, yeah.
Yeah, for Origins, they actually had like a history mode that you could,
Yeah.
that wasn't really fighting, you could just walk around. But also
cool.
for Unity, when the Notre Dame Cathedral caught fire,
Right.
Ubisoft sent over some of their data from the game to help.
I remember
recreate it.
that. Yeah, I do remember that. Oh, and the environment's just phenomenal. I really like the game, really immersive.
That's awesome. I have been digging into a couple of games. Fort Triumph, which is sort of an XCOM-like. It's sort of if you smashed XCOM and Heroes of Might and Magic together. So there's kind of like an overworld that you're wandering around and picking up chests and fighting goblins and stuff, which is really cool because it really focuses on physics-based interactions in the map. So you like hook a tree, which falls over and hits the goblin, which knocks the goblin toward a stone. And when the goblin hits the stone, he gets hurt, but also your other guy's standing there. And since the goblin moved through his nearby tile, he gets an attack of opportunity on him and hits him, and then the goblin's dead. Like, it's like falling interaction, sort of in the same way that Into the Breach works.
So it's like Final Destination. The ghost of Rube Goldberg is developing a video game.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's an XCOM game with a really tight focus on physics-based interactions in the
Got it.
combat, and it's super fun. I really love it. Would recommend it. And Alex, what have you been up to?
So last week I rolled credits on Arkham Asylum, and so now I'm working on Arkham City.
Ooh, Arkham City was my favorite.
What do you think?
It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the structure and the go here now direction in Arkham Asylum. In Arkham City, it's a lot more spontaneous and kind of all over the map, literally, because it's more open world.
See, you're making jokes, Alex. You're making jokes.
When I started playing that, Alex, because I played it right after I finished Arkham Asylum, I had that same sense of like, this is too much. This is too much. Put me back in my box. Tell me what to do.
That's totally where I am. I'm starting to settle into it more.
You get into a rhythm.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm only a couple hours in, so yeah, that's
Very
what I've
cool.
been doing.
Cool. This is one of my favorite episodes of the year, if not my favorite episode of the year, because we look back at our old predictions and then we make new predictions for the coming year. And it's always just kind of a trip.
So this is where we're actually going to take the audio from last year's episode and cut it in so that we can compare our predictions to what actually happened.
And I'll start with Chris's predictions, I think. Is that okay with you, Chris?
Yep, they're quick. I predict that I'm going to take time off to play Cyberpunk 2077.
You can't predict something that you have
Plan on doing it anyway.
You're literally
It's
going to
just a
call in sick
plan.
that day.
Nailed it.
Check.
Boom.
Although I would like to maintain that you can't make a prediction about something that you're personally responsible for. That's not a
just
prediction.
did.
That's just like a statement of intent.
Well,
We basically
I
signed
predicted
a
it and it
document.
came true, so.
All right, so check.
I think that we're going to learn more about Warhammer Total War 3, but it won't release.
We did not.
Oh.
They're still pumping out some more DLCs for that.
Well, right. And I think that they chalked a lot of that up to COVID. In July,
yeah.
they sent out a message that was like, we would really love to tell you more, but, shit's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Elden Ring is going to come out before the next
next console
consoles.
generation.
Yep, or concurrent with it, and they're going to release for both.
Okay.
Big ol' F.
Oh, that's
I think
a
that was
new-
a stretch for me. And then my other stretch was Game of the Year will be between 2077 and Elden Ring. I was really...
Really hopeful on that.
If you didn't notice, I was excited for Cyberpunk 2077. And it didn't, as I said earlier, it didn't live up to the hype. But I'm still excited for its future.
There was also one other thing you said.
What was that?
I think the next big genre of multiplayer games will emerge.
Oh, yeah.
This I think was correct.
Yeah,
This is the most interesting one. So Chris's prediction was basically like, okay, massively multiplayer, battleground games were the big
MMOs,
thing.
MOBAs.
Right. They have a season. They come and they go, and it's kind of like a couple of years, and then they're out of fashion again.
As
and so
Fortnite
Chris was like,
comes and goes, so
That's
do
right.
the days of our lives.
so tell us what you think is the new thing that landed this year, Chris.
There was a lot of social deduction games this year that came out that were really popular. I mean, Among Us and Phasmophobia were the main ones. But also, I guess Unfortunate Spacemen.
What?
But actually, they didn't really come out this year. They've been around for a while.
They've been
Yeah.
around
Just
for a
suddenly got
while.
popular.
I think Among Us was so accessible that it
Yeah.
just made it like everyone could play it.
It literally just blew up because you could be like, yeah, go get it on your phone. We'll play it. We'll do it. We're both at home. We play video games now. It's fine. It's cool. And people are like, okay. All right. So, Chris, good work, buddy.
I was
Some
right.
things happened.
I was wrong.
There was a mix.
I laughed, I cried, it moved me, Chris.
We're all going to eat some humble pie, aside from Allison. But I'm going to eat mine now because it smells delicious.
My prediction is that PS5 will be hurt by a high asking price, which I think will be $499.99, and it won't sell nearly as well as the new Xbox. So that will include Xbox Series X and Lockhart, I think is the code name for the one that they haven't talked about yet. Basically what I'm saying is I think PlayStation is going to lose the next version of Console Wars, where in this generation they very clearly won.
And turns out that actually the PlayStation 5 has so far outsold both the X and S during the first 4 weeks, and it's also selling at a faster rate than even the Nintendo Switch managed in its first 4 weeks of launch.
I do want to point out something there, too.
Yeah.
I disagreed highly with this on that last episode.
You did, and that was actually the little next thing
right.
in my notes, and you were right. So clearly I was wrong, right? And this is my humble pie. I think kind of what happened here is that PlayStation was probably gunning for a higher price and then ended up bringing that cost down to make sure that it didn't get completely blown out of the water by the Xboxes. I also think that post initial launch, there is still a lot of room for Xbox to win this version of the console war.
I agree.
I'm personally surprised that Xbox didn't blow out of the water just because of the aesthetics of the PS5, which are,
Horrible.
suffice to say,
Well,
controversial.
it's weird looking, but I mean, also the PS5 actually has games that are out for
Right.
it,
Right.
So like people can play things on it, whereas with the Xbox Series X or S, there's nothing that's really come out yet.
Yeah. The big thing was Halo Infinite, right? It was supposed to be a launch title and it got bumped. And I think that really is hurting sales. So maybe once that comes along, we'll see Xbox pick up. But that's a big meh for me.
Yeah.
And a big ka-ding for Chris. I also predicted that
The Trials of Mana title, it's a remake of Seiken Densetsu 3. It's going to slap. It's going to be great. I'm so excited for this game.
Slaps. And really slaps.
it received universally very positive reviews. So I can say it was like a solid slap.
It's like a solid
Slap.
bump,
I haven't played it yet, but I'm still excited to play it whenever it goes on sale in 5 to 10 years as per Nintendo's user agreement. I also said that
2020 will not be the year of
Well,
VR.
just like 2018
No,
wasn't
it
the year.
All right,
not
new prediction from Ian. 2020 is not
Add
the
it
year
to
of
the
VR.
list.
and I feel like there's an argument to be made about this.
I-
On the one hand, the Oculus has done pretty well. On the other hand, that and Half-Life Alyx were kind of the only thing that happened in VR this year that made a dent.
but it's finally got a killer app.
Like the Oculus Quest 2 at $299 is like real good. Like that
It
VR is
is.
accessible to everyday people now.
Right.
And I
You
would
know?
say
Yeah.
40% of the people here have headsets.
But would you call it the year of VR? I don't think so.
No.
No one called it the
No.
year of
It's
VR
been-
except
it's
for
been-
you.
It's been the best year yet for VR.
That's
though, I
true.
think.
I still cannot name one reason outside of Half-Life Alyx. I cannot name one reason
That was one
to buy a VR thing. I walked into GameStop the other day to pick something up and saw them on the wall. I was like, I have no idea what those do. Do they play all my Steam games? Do they play some Steam games? Is it when I
Yeah.
put my phone in? Like, I have no idea what they're for.
I think that it's moved in the right direction with the untethering and it's getting closer.
Yeah.
But I don't think the next 2 years could even be considered the years for VR. But yeah.
Facebook's Oculus is a big step forward. I think we still have a little bit of time to go before it becomes like a household thing. And I was excited for Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which turned out to be a great game.
Fantastic.
Although it was a bit hampered by some technical difficulties on launch and on older models of the Xbox. So all in all, yeah, I was mostly neutral. 50-50.
Okay, we'll say
45-55.
We'll say that. Technically, that's still not, but you know.
Dan, okay, let's do Dan's thing.
Okay,
So let's
because
see.
we're gonna start with where we just ended.
Yeah.
We're going to see an upswing in VR games, specifically because Half-Life Alyx is supposed to come out this year.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
And we did, because the Oculus Quest 2 came out and made it more affordable for people to play VR games. And
Yeah.
it's like the wireless stuff is great. I have one. It works really well. And I know I have like a bunch of students who got it for Christmas this year
nice.
too.
Oh, wow.
like,
That's a big deal.
yeah. So it's like, man, it's really like not just your cool gamer friend has a VR headset. Now it's like Timmy down the street has a VR headset, and so does Jerry, who lives in an apartment by himself with his 7 cats, you know?
Right. Yeah. That's how I remember like the SNES being. So sooner rather than later, we're all going to have headsets in our lives. And you also specifically mentioned Half-Life Alyx, which also, turned out to be a really big hit. And I want to say like that was by no means a predetermined victory. Like
No, that could have been awful.
Valve hadn't put out a good game in a long time.
It's more like Valve hadn't put out a game in a long time.
I was going to say without the good, but it just, I don't know. It seems
Yeah, they
like
just hadn't
I
put out
want to
anything in a
terrible.
long time. And of course, it's
Yeah.
still like, they're still playing off the Half-Life 2, success with that one still. But I thought that was really good. I typically don't have the most predictions because, I don't know, I'm just excited, but I like to see what's going to happen. But the other thing I said,
Google Stadia came out this year. And I have a
Dan's calling
feeling,
it.
I really have a feeling that Google's going to back down from the Stadia stuff a little bit in the
Just a
next year,
little?
or a lot of it.
I was really wrong. Like, I was super wrong about this.
Well, I don't know if you were
I mean,
super wrong.
Actually, Cyberpunk was a boon for them because they were able to run it.
Yeah.
So they came out positively from that.
Yeah, I think
Right.
Rob was able to play it on his Stadia, and he was just like, yeah, I think it runs fine. It was like lag every once in a while, but other than that, it's pretty good. And I mean, I keep seeing a lot more people are now saying that like Stadia's really cool and kind of worth it now that it's like a subscription games sort of stuff, and you don't have to just buy individual things. Like you can get free games every month or so.
Right. Like if you're the person who just wants to play the AAA releases from, cross-platform games, it's almost like don't buy a console, don't buy a PC, just get Stadia and you'll be fine. And the fact that I'm saying those words just came out of my mouth right now, I'm
I
like,
know.
ooh.
Do you feel sick? You okay?
I feel a little bit sick to my stomach, yeah.
Oh God! Someone get a bucket. Somebody
feel better.
get a bucket for Ian.
Maybe it's the champagne.
I'd feel better putting my money in GeForce Now than Stadia because Google drops stuff left and right.
No way. GeForce Now is going to fold like a tent, but that's okay. I'll add that to my predictions for
Okay,
2021.
yeah, I'll counter that.
And the game that I was excited for in 2020 was Dying Light 2, which
Man, that was good. Oh,
and that was put on hold indefinitely.
indefinitely.
Merp.
They said that they would they were taking it back like to development with a no one knows when it's going to come out, so it might
But
not
it was
come
so
out at all.
good. The
I
first
know,
one was so
like
good.
Dying Light was great,
it's too bad.
and I was really excited for Dying Light 2. And I mean, it's only because of the pandemic. If there wasn't a pandemic, we would have had this game, and I'm so sad. So
Yeah,
sad.
that's a bummer. Dying Light 2 gone before we even knew you. So let's go ahead and work through some of Allison's predictions. So I'm going to roll the tape here for Allison's first prediction.
I'm really thinking Phantasy Star 2 will not release in Q2 2020, but will release in Q4 instead.
So
I mean-
strangely, this game released more or less on time.
It's-
So she was wrong.
she was wrong. Yeah,
Minus 20 points for Slytherin.
It feels wrong to say that in absentia, but a swing and a miss for Allison on that one. And actually, Phantasy Star 2 got some really big press even here in the States, right? So this is like a big Japanese title, but it got some good press here in the States, so that's good for them.
Yeah.
Here's Allison's second prediction.
Psychonauts will release in 2020. I don't think anyone is going to give this game another year. I know it doesn't have an exact release point, but it's finally supposed to. I know this is announced in 2015, but yeah, it's got to happen or investors are going to riot double fine.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like we need a section of this, which is like
Like an
games in memoriam.
Yeah, an in memoriam for 2020. Like the Oscars.
In the arms of an angel.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
It did make it, which is a shame because Double Fine is such a great studio, and I just want to support this, which was originally a kickstarting
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
And the original Psychonauts is just such a huge title. People love that game. It's a bummer that this one did not make 2020 release, but hopefully we'll see it in 2021. So maybe that's what she's excited for in 2021. I don't know. Time will tell. And then, okay, here's Allison's last prediction.
Pokemon Sword and Shield Game Freak is probably going to add more Pokemon to the Pokedex because I know that was a lot of controversy. And so I do think that they're going to release like old gen favorites. Maybe even the whole first Pokedex is my guess.
So they did the first part. They added a whole bunch of Pokemon. They added a bunch of regions. They added a bunch of new DLC you can get. But the whole first Pokédex, still no go
Didn't
on
really-
that. And I don't think
didn't
that's
really
going to
pan out.
happen, really.
A lot of people loved the new Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield. There were a ton of people in the Game Brew community who played the bejesus side of that game, even though I was not one of them.
I finished it this year, apparently.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's
Way back in the day.
I was going to say, we have to look at that at some point and see what...
Don't you worry, Dan. We will.
I'm not worried. I just forgot it was there.
And she was excited for the FF7 remake, which turned out to be great.
Well,
So,
not for Allison. She didn't like it.
oh, she didn't like it, but generally people liked it.
It was, yes.
Because it was different. Generally, people liked it. She didn't like it as much because it was different and Kingdom Heartsy. Like, you know...
Katie didn't like it, but then she started liking it more.
I need to go install it on my Xbox so that I can just never sleep ever again.
That's a good reason.
And
work.
Will, let's go to your predictions. So
Sweet.
let me roll this tape here.
First of all, VR is going to continue to grow this year. I think Steam will start to push or get to 2 million active monthly
What is it
VR
at right
headset
now?
users per month.
What's it at
In
now?
2019, they surpassed 1 million.
How
I
do
mean,
you
it
feel
definitely.
about past Will's prediction?
I mean, it's continuing to grow. I don't know that the install base doubled this year. But I mean, it's growing. Like I say, I mean, I still don't, and I know I cannot be the only person who rolls into a store and sees VR on the wall and like understands that, hey, this is growing because it's in my face now, but still doesn't know what it's for. Like, I know there are VR games out there, but
Have you ever tried it?
yeah, I've tried VR. I've tried an
What have
HTC
you
Vive.
played?
I would love one, but there's no games that
The
are.
HTC Vive is like the best tracking.
Have you played Beat Saber?
I haven't played Beat Saber. I've seen people
amazing.
play it.
The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is really good.
See, now that's the kind of stuff that I could get into with that, but I have to go looking for that. Like, it's just not shoved in your face like 2077 or anything was, or like a new Call of Duty game. Like, and I'm not, like, I got so much other shit going on. Like, I don't have time for someone who doesn't actively look up,
Okay.
what's the latest new
That
VR
makes sense.
thing. I'm
That
like,
makes sense.
I don't know. Tell me. It definitely continues
It's
to grow.
getting
I was
there.
reading a
is
a
getting
neat
there.
article. Forbes expects us to grow a little, and then the last 3 or 4 years before we hit 2027, I think it's 25, 26, and 27 is supposed to take astronomical jumps based on their predictions, which I think would be really cool. Maybe it'll be affordable by then too.
It's affordable now.
Well, depending on who you are.
Well,
That's
yeah.
true, Dan.
I mean, you could buy an Xbox. You could buy an Xbox Series S, or you could buy a VR headset.
I think between the two, I'd buy a headset. Which, shoot, maybe Forbes is right. All right, let me roll some more tape from Will.
I think that we're going to see more companies try, at least a handful, trying forced advertising in gaming.
What do you mean forced?
Like NBA 2K19 had forced ads that were built into the experience. And I think we're going to see some other iterations of that. I feel like COVID sort of wrecked that.
I feel like
this
COVID sort of made this happen. I
Yeah,
disagree.
it made
Really?
it worse because of like
More people were on them.
and
Yeah.
like with the 2K basketball stuff where there's unskippable cutscenes that are ads for stuff. Like
The best.
like
it's
you
like
were very right about this.
Oh, well, good. Good. See, because I didn't buy any sports games this year because like COVID. I was like, whatever. And the new MLB game, like the show, tanked in price really, really quickly. So in my brain, I was just sort of assuming, oh, nobody's buying it because nobody cares about sports this year. And like it immediately went on sale super fast from what I saw. So cool. Count that as a ding for me then.
Ding.
Ding.
The ding for
Ding,
Will.
baby.
That
ding.
is the one thing I've done with my MBA that can be deemed useful, as I predicted that. So I'm happy with that.
All right, so here's another Will prediction for the Sages to tear apart.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think we're going to see somebody paying attention, some journalist who notices a Nintendo patent for some sort of hardware design that hints at new console design.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Yeah, we did.
Well, okay, so we got
I would
the
say a
Switch
Switch Lite is an iteration.
No.
I no.
No, I'm talking about that there's a bunch of stuff that's come out where there's probably going to be a Switch Pro or a Switch XL this year.
Was it from Nintendo?
It wasn't, no, but that's hints. He didn't say that we would get the console. He said we would get hints.
Okay, so you said a journalist hinting at a patent that hints at a new console design.
Oh, God.
Which, like,
That's
we
pretty
haven't
specific.
seen, but kind of we have seen. So okay,
So
we'll give it to you.
we'll give it half a ding.
If that's even possible.
Okay, and then you also said that Final Fantasy VII would be great. Did you play it?
No, and that was the one game I bought a PS4 for. And then teaching in a COVID world, just like everything got wrecked this year. I'm so far behind. I haven't even touched it yet.
I feel like this is the game that I need to like sit Marianne down and be like, this is me when I'm 13. I just need you to play it and write down all your thoughts on your Zynga account and then share it with me so I can look over them.
No, live journal, man. Live journal.
Live journal was a thing too.
And you were excited for The Last of Us Part 2. Did you play that one?
Also, no.
Oh my God.
I did, and it was good, Will. So
That doesn't mean I didn't pick two games that are worthwhile to be excited about.
And it also won a bunch of stuff at the Game Awards.
It did.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we
Yes.
can call that a ding too.
I want to create a new rule
Yeah.
before we get into the second half.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you say you're excited for a game and it comes out this year, you have to play it.
You have to play it.
you have to play. If you don't, then there's gonna be no consequences. But
gonna
boy,
Are we
got
going to
it.
make
But
fun
a
of
year
you?
from now,
You will
a
be
year from
ridiculed.
now, I'm gonna ridicule you. Hard.
All right.
Game Brew shaming.
Speaking of a
Public
year
shaming.
from now, stick with us. We'll be back with our predictions for 2021. Hope you're enjoying the game. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the second half of the Game Brew Podcast, episode 99. We are doing our annual prediction review and predictions for 2021. But first, we're going to see who won the game completion
competition this year. Chris, who won it? Who did it? I know
I'm gonna go last to first.
Okay.
This could be incorrect. I might have some things that people have finished that I don't know about.
All right.
I'm looking at you, Will, because you're last with 1 game completion.
Yeah, I'm last.
It was a big long one though. It was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Alex came in second with 2 game completions for a total a long one and a medium one with Toading Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 and Arkham Asylum.
All right.
I think 3 for me.
What was the third one?
The game we're not allowed to talk about.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
I still have a couple left in
Yes.
Blood and Wine.
Yes.
But I finished the main game and the first DLC.
Very nice. So, Gears 4? Okay,
I did also finish Gears 4.
So that's
Notice
that's
how
a little
Chris
more.
is not at all worried about whether or not that beats him or Dan. He's like, oh yeah, let me get that in. Let me get that in for you.
So Will is still in last. Alex actually tied Ian.
Whoa.
So for Ian, I had
Yes.
1 medium and 2 long. LOTR adventure card game as his
Yes.
medium. And Everspace and Remnant from the Ashes.
Oh
as his
yeah.
longs.
You know what? I don't think I finished any other games. I think that's actually true.
Allison came in after that. She did a lot of short games. I'm not going to mention all of them, but it was a lot of like the adventure.
Yeah, the hunt and
games.
find.
Yeah.
things.
She also did Siberia and Layers of Fear, and we said she completed Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Nice.
Can you complete that? Okay, yeah.
Well,
all right.
you can get to like if you get terraforming and stuff, like you pay off your house and all that.
In second place was me. I had a lot of short games as well, a handful of medium games, a good amount of long games. I beat Pokemon Shield, Borderlands 3, that game that Alex also beat, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and another game that I basically just had to go and beat Gwen to get the
I
points.
see.
Oh, yep, you did. Yep.
I literally
That's
just had to go kill
hilarious.
Gwen.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
it.
That's so
He went in, finished it. It was done.
Yep. I also did Doom Eternal.
Well, Chris, Gwen in Rome, you know?
Oh
Yep.
boy.
So
Oh boy.
a good amount of games, but our champion this year, as in last
Ding
year,
ding.
was Daniel Rock.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes wild.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Plague Tale, Hollow Knight, Final Fantasy VII, Animal Crossing,
Wow.
Dying Light,
Wow.
The Last of Us 2, Devil May Cry 5, Batman
Jesus.
Telltale, Ori and the Blind Forest, Doom Eternal, Modern
Dan-
Warfare, Resident Evil 3, Dead
What's your-
Rising,
Dan?
What's
Soma,
your secret?
Katana
Damn,
Zero, and
Daniel.
Blob's Cold War.
What is your secret, Dan?
My secret.
He was single
I was single for a lot of it,
for most of the pandemic.
for most of the pandemic, and then having a wonderful girlfriend who loves to watch me play video games. So that is another thing that helps.
No, that's a
it.
solid
And
list.
is there anyone you'd like to thank, Dan?
I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend Hannah for putting up with my bullshit. I'd like to thank all of you guys for consistently being like, hey, what's Dan doing? He's playing some random games, I think. Oh,
Dan, you're also really good at being focused on
Like one thing.
singular thing at a time.
Yeah.
And like I cannot do that. I'm so.
I did
spastic.
recently just get reminded of that I never finished Dragon Age Inquisition,
Spastic.
so I'm working on that one now too.
Yeah, that's a good long one.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good. I had more games that I completed than last year, and you still crushed it.
Listen, it's just you just got to believe, guys.
I'm coming for you guys this year. I don't care if
Ooh,
I'm
I like
getting
it.
He's got
DDS.
Game
I like
Pass.
it.
He's got
Doing
Game
it.
Pass. He could do it. He's got.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
right.
Game Pass.
I want to see more competition this year.
But Will,
It
you're
was-
having
it
a
was a-
baby.
it was a
There's no
two-pony
way
race again.
in hell.
Oh
If
yeah,
you-
dude, I'm gonna
If
be up
you
at like 2
play a
a.m.
video game next year, I will be impressed.
I'm gonna be up at like 2 a.m. because he's gonna be hungry, and like I've already got a little thing, like a little tactical baby holster carrier to put him in. Like I can feed him and have my hands free to play games.
My baby
It's
holster
actually-
also has extra ammo
What's-
pouches.
What's funny is it's actually a Corsair Rumble holster, so every time
it's a
he
Rumble
shoots,
It's got
holster.
the
RGB
holster-
lights.
All right, let's move right on to our predictions for 2021, and
The drinks are the same as they were before.
They are.
They-
Yeah,
right,
they have
exactly.
not much has changed.
This section is we'll do our predictions for 2021. We'll argue about them a little bit, and then we'll also give our game of the years for 2020. So specifically, the games of the years are our game of the years. It's not the game of the year. We're not saying it's the best game out. It's the one that for us made the biggest impact or was the best thing for us as people. And I wanted to go to Chris first because he has some really interesting predictions, especially on the hardware side. So Chris, what do you got for predictions for 2021?
To start off, I think we're going to see a lot of mediocre or poorly polished games in the next few months. A, because of COVID, but B, because we're at the beginning of a new console cycle.
Right.
And those are always kind of bare times.
That is true.
On top of
game.
COVID. So it's going to be a little rough, I think, for the next few months.
Did someone say bear time?
Bear claws.
Rawr, it's me, the Game Brew Bear. New character.
New character for 2020. Remember? Or
Does anyone have any honey? I love honey.
Needs the Game Brew Bear needs some sort of official capacity, like Smokey the Bear. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be preventing something.
Turn your computers off when you leave the house, just in case it starts any fires.
Because you know you bought that cheap PSU.
that is cheap. Your RAM is terrible.
Chris, what else do you got?
So hardware for consoles, for computers, super hard to obtain right now, at least the new stuff.
Right.
I think it's going to take until maybe late spring, early summer for demand to finally be
definitely
fulfilled.
think you're
Yeah,
right.
I can see that happening.
And when it does, I'll finally get a Ryzen 5900X.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Well, so do you have any, like, I don't want to push you, but do you have any more like bold predictions for AMD hardware in 2021? Because I feel like there's a lot going on. Like
they crossed 25% on the Steam survey this year.
Wow.
yeah, so give us some predictions, man. Give us some stuff. Give us some goodness.
Yeah, but didn't they drop in GPUs?
Oh, well, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, Will.
No, they need a response. They need a good response to ray tracing.
Yeah.
And they don't have it yet. I mean, they're dominating right now. If they can get demand up, they're going to get up above 30% easily.
Wow.
So would you say that AMD will reach 30% install base in 2021?
On the Steam survey, yeah.
Ooh, I like this prediction. That's good.
The games I'm excited for 2021 are Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. It's made by the same company that did Vermintide.
Oh, like a
But
Warhammer
it's a 40.
40,000.
It's a 40K version of it.
Ooh, I could be
like it.
down for that.
Yeah. So I mean, Vermintide 2 was great.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And then I believe Avalanche is making Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Hogwarts open world RPG.
Interesting.
I've seen
So why
that.
are you excited about this?
I think there's some older Harry Potter titles, and like I'm not super into Harry Potter, but I think this looks really cool.
Here's
Just from some of the videos I've seen.
yeah. So Avalanche is probably most well known for the Just Cause series.
Yeah.
The Arkham series as well.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, that could be good. They might manage to pull that one.
You're
Okay,
a wizard, Chris.
I think that looks really cool.
Wait, I'm
You're
sorry.
a wizard, Chris.
You're a wizard, Chris.
So yeah, I think that could be really cool. When are we doing our game of the year also?
Oh. No, do your game of the year now.
Okay. I mean, I think the game that I played the most this year was unsurprisingly Total War Warhammer 2.
Nice.
So that kind of got me through most of the pandemic. But other than that, I think that I really had a good time with Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
I haven't really touched it since I beat it.
Oh, there's new content for it too, though.
There is. I guess also because of the soundtrack. I still listen to the
yeah.
soundtrack just because. So
Nice.
Doom Eternal was great.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice. That's awesome.
Rip and tear until it is done.
Until it is done. So I made some pretty bold predictions. So I'm going out on a limb this year. I'm swinging for the fences. So prepare yourselves to argue about these
Okay.
things.
Put my argue pants on.
I think that in 2021, we will see the first bundling of a streaming video service and a streaming gaming service. So
Pretty
like
sure that's already happened.
it has?
YouTube and Stadia.
Are they bundled?
I'm sure there's a bundle of YouTube TV and Stadia.
Research noises. Clicking on my keyboard.
On November 10th, Google gave free Stadia gaming kits to YouTube Premium subscribers.
That was a limited thing.
I
though.
think more what he's talking
Yeah.
about is that it's going to be kind of like the way that Comcast bundles in your
Yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah, so no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is like whenever you sign up for Netflix, it'll be like, great, as long as you keep your Netflix subscription, you'll also get Stadia. We're like, great,
Yeah.
as long as you keep your Netflix subscription, you'll also get Microsoft Game Pass. Like, it will be a literal, like, you get this and also this. And I think the place that it'll probably start, to be honest, is an Amazon Prime subscription.
I think so.
That'll give you some kind of, it's probably Amazon Prime and Microsoft, I think, is the pairing that'll happen.
I think it's just going to be Google and Google. I think it's going to be themselves.
In any case, my actual prediction is there will be a bundle. I also predict that Halo Infinite is going to be a mess when it launches, either because it's late or it's buggy or it's not good. It's just going to be bad. That's my prediction. There's too much weirdness. It's been pushed back too many times. I think what the problem is they probably should have done a Metroid 4 with this and gone straight back to the drawing board. And instead, they're going to try to cobble something together and push it out. And it's just going to be not what the creators intended and not what the consumers wanted. And I hate to say that because I really would love it to be a win.
You're leaking into one of my predictions too.
I'm a leaker.
You're a
I'm
leaker because that's what I think it's going to be awful. Like, I think it's going to come out and be terrible or not even come out at all in 2021.
I think Allison had something similar for her prediction. She said Halo Infinite will meet the holiday release pushback of 2021, but not quite meet the hype, and roughly a 6 out of 10 basic game, too focused on multiplayer, while the story experience will feel rushed.
Wow.
But she still expects it to be one of the highest selling release games of the year.
That is a much more specific prediction. Hats off to you, Alice.
She's the best of us. We've said this many times.
It's many. Okay, and here's the last and biggest one for me. I think that Tencent will either try to or succeed at purchasing a controlling stake in Epic.
Ooh.
So right now they own 40%. Ooh. I think they will own 51% before the end of 2021.
It's tough.
So you think Tim Sweeney's going to give it up?
I don't think that Tim Sweeney's going to give it up. I think that there's going to be some strategic moves in other places. I don't know. Tencent is too big to not make a really big move in 2021 post, once we're getting back to something resembling a new normal situation, and people who sort of found out about gaming in the pandemic and sort of latched onto it in the pandemic figure out that actually this is something I could continue to do. I think Tencent's going to be ready to make some new acquisitions. They're already 40% of the way there with Epic. It makes sense for them to push even farther. I think 2021's the year.
All right.
So you think that they're going to give specifically Tim Sweeney a stupid amount of money because he owns greater than 50% controlling him personally.
Yeah, I think they're going to give Tim Sweeney a stupid amount. I mean, I think they're going to own a controlling proportion, 51% or more in 2021. That's my prediction.
All right.
Okay.
In terms of stuff I'm excited for Deathloop, which is kind of like a cool sort of heisty setup where the protagonist has to murder.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Bethesda game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You play like two different characters who have to kill each other in like this repeating time.
You're basically like hunting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like in a Groundhog Day scenario,
right,
which is really cool. And I'm also super excited for Diablo 4, but I don't know if it's going to release in 2021.
I doubt.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if it did.
I bet it doesn't release until 2022, but I'm excited if it's a thing.
I'm not going to hold my breath at all for that game, but I'll be happy when it comes out.
Yes.
Yeah. And then my game of the year for 2020, and I don't think anyone's going to agree with me, was Risk of Rain 2.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't recall you saying that it was.
I don't remember.
Well, no, he talked about it a lot. For a little
he was
while.
the game. He was one of the games he was excited for.
Yeah,
in the summer. Yeah, no, I played the bejesus out of this game. I played a lot of it with Jimmy Puddinhead in our Discord, and I would jump back into it at any time because I just love it, and I think it's a great co-op shooter. It's hard enough to be really fun, but approachable enough to where like anybody could kind of pick it up and play. Okay. And the difficulty curve is just so well done because at the beginning of every level
You're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through. And then by the end, you're like, I am a god. And then it starts you over the next level as a noob again. And it just feels great. So hats off to the developers there. Great game. Who wants to go next? Let's go to Alex next.
So for this upcoming year, my big one was the same as Ian's, was that subscription services is going to be a huge thing. Basically the online blockbuster.
Okay.
And it might be like the Amazon or the Google, that it's more cross-platform. It's more, it stretches further than just video games, and it'll just be like all entertainment bundled into one.
Okay.
I think VR is still going to struggle to be on that competitive level. I think with the newer Oculuses, it's going to help, but I think it's still going to struggle. I think we're going to see a lot more copies and clones of Battle Royales that come out this year.
Please stop.
Still more Battle Royale?
I think you're right.
Finally seeing what I said last year. Hooray.
Yeah. And I think we're also going to see more clones of games like Among Us. And people trying to tap into that.
Kind of connected all of us and like we can get behind murdering and lying to our friends.
And then I was reading this article, the Dean Beat predictions for gaming in 2021 by Dean Takahashi. And
I've read that. Yeah.
One of the other things that he brought up that I completely agree with is that IPOs in gaming,
Initial public offerings, for those of you who are wondering. Yep.
First of all, like this past year made so much money in the gaming industry.
Oh my gosh, so much.
And it's insane. And so all of these people are like, oh, video gaming is a viable,
it's huge,
means of making and moving money. And so I think we're going to see more IPOs, more purchasing of game companies, more merges. And I think that the other part of that is basically video games are coming into the larger global business picture. And so we're going to see more marketing. We're going to see more ads. We're going to see more product placement, stuff like that inside of video games because of deals and collaborations and stuff, blah, blah, blah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing.
So it's not always a bad thing. Like I think sometimes with games right now where we have like, oh, hey, if you buy this bottle of Code Red and you input the code, you do get like a special skin for your guy or whatever. I think that's...
But up until now, all of that stuff has been gimmicky.
It's true.
And I think that now it's, oh, I can make millions and billions of dollars on this. So let's do this smart with a lot of market research and whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Not saying that there wasn't market research or whatever done if
More
you got a
in-depth
Code Red.
market research.
Yeah. Like this is video games are going to determine people's trust funds now.
Oh God.
Instead of
Oh man.
That's stressful.
What's a trust fund?
And then for me, I think some of the games that I'm interested in, like Chris said, Hogwarts Legacy, because I'm a big Harry Potter nerd.
You nerd.
Loser.
Gotham Knights.
Totally.
Gotham Knights looks like it could totally be a fun party game.
We could totally play some Gotham Knights.
I think, I'm looking forward to that one too. I think I really want to play that through with.
That looks like that could be really
That'd
cool.
be fun.
Yeah. Overwatch 2, I'm very curious to see what that is going to be like. If it's going to be an overhaul of characters, if there's going to be a completely new batch of characters, what they're going to do with that. So I'm curious about that. And I'm not going to get a console. I'm not going to buy a PS5 or an Xbox. But
You don't need to. You're going to get a new video card.
I would love to get a PS5 to play Gran Turismo 7 because
so pretty.
it's going to be a gorgeous game.
So pretty. Those Gran Turismo games. We were talking about, me and Will were talking about Forza the other night. I was just like,
I love Forza.
it's just like, even though I'm not like,
Forza's great.
I'm just like not really a car person. Like I've watched Top Gear,
Yeah.
but
they
I've been playing Forza.
they just look so good, you know?
I drove a stick shift once, so basically I'm a car person.
Basically a car person.
My game of the year very clearly was Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Yeah.
For sure.
It just made
doing everything I can.
all of quarantine. I was looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint.
It was
and I loved
everything
it.
I wanted and more.
Everything.
There's enough stuff for me to do in that game that I can just pick it up for the next couple of years and just like chip away.
That's cool.
At things. And so yeah,
Alex, would you say that
love
you
it.
could
It's my game.
pick it up, 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 pick it up? Because ska, get
Yeah,
it? Because ska.
It's good to have a game, a skateboard game like that to grind on for a while.
Jesus.
Yes.
All right, can we keep this
You
rolling?
don't want to rail it too hard, though.
Let's keep rolling here.
Let's
All
flip
right.
it on to the next person. How about that?
Dan, do you have predictions?
I
for
have
us?
some little fluffy light predictions I can give to you.
Give me the fluffy
totally.
light ones,
All right,
Dan,
so-
and then follow them up with big old hairy hard.
I don't know if I'm
ones.
going to do that, but I will. The one I said before is that I don't think Halo Infinite will be good. I think it will be bad.
I'm surprised that we're all on board for Halo Infinite being bad, but okay.
But mostly, I just don't think it's going to come out this year.
Ooh.
There's something going on, and it's just not good. And I think there's a problem, and I think it's just not going to come out until next, like after 2021 is over.
Okay.
My next prediction is that Elden Ring is going to come out probably in like June or July, the newest From Software game.
Chris is doing a
He's
dance.
doing a dance because he knows, and it's going to come out, and it's just going to slap. Like this game is,
Chris is
it's going to be awesome. And
already not allowed to say Elden Ring on the podcast.
because I know Chris said it was hoping it was going to come out this year, and that was a bit of a heady prediction. But I think we could get close because they're notorious for like not really giving you a whole lot of stuff before it comes out. So like,
I mean, we didn't know about Demon Souls coming,
I know. So
and it just was like, oh, here's Demon Souls.
so they're just gonna it's gonna come out in like June or July, and it's just gonna be so good. Like all this, I feel like it's gonna be the next type of Souls game that we all are kind of looking for, and I think that's gonna be great. I also predict that I'm gonna help my father, Papa Rotz, Game Brew's #1 fan, build his first gaming computer this coming year. So, and by me, I mean
Looking forward
Chris
to
and me.
playing games with him.
Yeah. So because he has approached me over the last few weeks, he's been like, the more I see like the stuff with like consoles and like computers, I think I might want to build a PC. I'm like, I can build it for you. He's like, no, I want to do it. Because he loves Legos and
Nice.
stuff. So he's like, no, I want to build it.
Nice.
So he's
I mean,
gonna.
it's just Legos.
So he's gonna do that. I'm gonna help him out. I think I can convince him to do that this year, but we'll find out. And Shenmue 3 is going to have come out in 2020, and it's going to be mediocre.
Damn, that already happened.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry, I forgot. It's just my yearly
burn.
Shenmue 3 prediction. I just had to put that out there.
Dan, Shenmue 4 is coming out in 2020.
9
2029, Shenmue 3.
I think that's
or
a little
Shenmue 4.
early.
might be a little early for it. So the game I'm excited for next year is two of them in particular. Hopefully they still come out. Resident Evil Village is
Okay.
coming out.
Is this like Sim City but Resident Evil?
Yeah, it's more like Animal Crossing but with Resident Evil.
Oh, I see.
So you have different like
Different
zombies living in your
zombies and
village.
Resident Evil
That's right.
characters. It's like, how many Albert Weskers do you have? Oh, I have like 9. No, but honestly, like Resident Evil Village, I love Resident Evil. I love all the games. I can't wait for the next one to come out because it looks very similar to Resident Evil 7 / Biohazard, which came out a few years ago. And I really liked that style of game that they did that in, and I can't wait for that. And also, the next Hitman game is supposed to come out this year, Hitman 3.
Oh, yeah. Did you play through all of Hitman 2 and things?
Yes, and I love the Hitman games. I just think it's so fun to like use lateral thinking to be a hitman and try and like not get noticed, and also
That game-
sometimes not use lateral thinking and just go ham. And just like immediately get noticed for everything. So those games I think are genius, like a genius kind of recognition as to what video games are. And I think the third one, I can't wait for it to come out, or the third, like the new version of it to come out. So
That's a good point. The Hitman games are very much aware that they are video games, and that's what makes them good.
yeah, it's very much like, yeah, these are ridiculous situations that you would never, no one would ever find themselves in, but video game.
But here we are. Yeah.
And my game of the year is Hades,
Hey,
which I picked
yeah.
up later into the year, but like I just recently finished my first run. It was actually It was actually after the new year, so I think that would be my first wap 2021. But there's so much more after that first run through. Like it just and there's like all the story and deep lore content that I am just so into. Like I have not stopped thinking about like how I'm gonna get more like potions to some of these people. So that
I love it when you get into a game on that level.
Yeah.
Like my favorite of all time is still when you and I went through Dead Space and we learned
learn the alphabet
language.
for the
yeah,
thing and
it was
decoded
great.
all the things. So good. So yeah, Hades, Dan's game of the year.
Hades.
All right, Will, your predictions for 2021.
I have a few that are pretty straightforward. I don't have anything groundbreaking like what some of you all have. But first thing, I think we're going to see collegiate esports break into, and I mean dipping like a pinky toe into the mainstream media.
Okay.
We've seen professional esports. I mean, a lot of that this year was due to the fact that there was no other sports on. So ESPN would occasionally pick up like Overwatch or something. But there's definitely a rise in collegiate and high school and even some middle school esports leagues. And I think we're going to start to see collegiate stuff start to take off and make its way onto TV or some sort of larger media outlet for people to watch, like the Collegiate Eastern Coast Big Ten Championship Overwatch, you know, however they divide it up. But I think that's going to happen.
I think that's a valid thing, especially with the way it's going right now. Esports is becoming way more popular in the mainstream.
Yeah, I know. And like, man, I'll go back to college and like you don't need to buy me a car to be on your esports team. Like just
I mean, it'd be nice.
I would settle for a joystick so I could, you know, play Rogue Squadron effectively. Like that would be fine. I think that we will still, even in the holidays of 2021, even in the holidays of 2021, not see any Switch discount or price drops. I think it's going to hold steady. Period.
Never,
end of story.
Ever.
Probably ever.
I
think it'll be 2050 and Nintendo will be like $300.
Yeah.
That's what.
Right. If you want a price discount on a Nintendo Switch, buy one on Craigslist.
Yeah. This is a bold one, I guess. I think at the end of 2021, we will have an announcement for, not a product, but an announcement for a redesigned / like slim model, better looking model of the PS5. And God, do I hope so.
I think that's early, man. I think that's way early.
No, I think they'll announce it at the end of 2021.
Right.
On the other hand, like those little side things just kind of pop on and pop off. So you probably could like I'm pretty sure there's already third-party people doing different visuals of a PS5.
Now that is cool. That is cool. And that's useful too, because good Lord, that thing is ugly. And then I think, despite the initial sales number, I think Sony, doubled nearly, if not, sales of the Series X and S. I think that the ecosystem, especially now that I'm back in it and I'm using both and can compare, the ecosystem that Microsoft has built for social gaming and interconnectedness and how good Game Pass is and the quality of what is on Game Pass and how long it stays, I think that towards the end of the year, that's going to start to level out some. I think the services, we're going to start to see Microsoft chip away at that Sony tower.
Just kind of slowly.
And and start to even things out. I think it's going to be the services that does it because PS Now stuff rotates out way too fast.
I agree with you on that. Like, I still think that Microsoft has the better, like, business model as far as, like, the Game Pass and...
Oh, for sure.
All those.
Better
Well,
tell
and
you, yeah, for sure.
And just how it's structured, I'm going through and I'm sort of playing some of the old Gears games. Like, it's hard to find people to play that with. They have a system. You can post a thing up, say, hey, I'm playing campaign Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Click the button to join me, and like somebody in Idaho could join in, and you're doing the same thing. It's just really, really great. I love how they've done it.
I think it'd be interesting to see the amount of money that's being spent on Game Pass versus PS Now, because it probably won't equalize, but it probably makes up for a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Because Game Pass, like I don't have it, but admittedly, it is a good value for sure.
Oh, it's excellent. It's really good.
And Will, your game of the year and...
Oh, yeah.
My game of the year, and I played a lot of games. Like I only finished 2. You know, I'm a dabbler, as Ian said, but most definitely, and it made its...
Is that your
yeah.
Batman villain name, the Dabbler?
I am the dabbler. Yes. The dabbler. I'm like somebody's like grandma. What I do, I don't kill anybody, but I take wet paper towels and I lick them and I clean stuff off I like dab your face to clean smudges off your face. And that's what I do. I'm just really annoying. I'm not really a bad guy.
Okay.
I'm the dabbler. I don't know. That's what I picture. Dabbling. I don't know. So my game of the year is definitely Horizon Zero Dawn, which is also now in my top probably 3.
Wow.
It is up there with Mass Effect in terms of games I love and enjoy and could replay ad nauseum. And I'm close to 100%ing that game. That's how good it is.
And then what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition.
Yeah,
That's coming out this year. I will be taking time off for that.
Wait, is that in your
And-
predictions as well that you will be taking time off? Or
Yeah, I
No, that's
predict
not a prediction.
I
That's a
will be taking
calendar.
time off for that.
That's a
No,
calendaring
it's a total
event.
prediction.
That does not count.
I also am looking forward to Forbidden West, the next Horizon Zero Dawn game,
that'll be
Oh,
cool.
if
beautiful.
it releases this year.
Beautiful. Okay, so although Allison couldn't be here, she wanted to make sure that her predictions also made it on the show. So here we go. And she writes.
Dearest
And she
Ian.
writes.
So she talked through Halo Infinite and how it won't meet the holiday release pushback. Rewind if you want to hear the rest of that, but that's that. She also says generally about AAA games that all AAA games will be pushed back this year to some extent, including specifically the God of War sequel, Resident Evil 7, and Far Cry 6. Ugh.
So
because they were
I-
forced to, not because they were ready to, and mostly because of COVID.
I find it really interesting that she mentions Far Cry 6 because it's being given out free right now with AMD processors.
Yoinks.
So that would be a lot of angry
That would be
people.
tough. That'd be tough.
Like it's hard for me to believe that they'd be giving out a game
Yeah.
that isn't rock solid on schedule.
The one exception from this rule, she said, is Halo Infinite because they already mentioned a delay. So Halo Infinite, she says, might make a 2021 release. Otherwise, AAAs will be delayed. And she also says that it will be a big dev year for cloud gaming, more behind the scenes working on cloud gaming's push, and that there will be big pushes in that direction for the next few years. So here's to looking for more investment in Google Stadia, in NVIDIA's platform, and others. That's interesting. And I think probably true. Right?
Yeah, probably.
We're kind of seeing that
We're really
becoming
seeing that.
a little
That's
bit
the
more
trend.
acceptable. Yeah.
Well, as internet speeds are more stable and fast. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you've got a prediction for 2021, let us know in our Discord or on our social medias on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. You can also hit us up there. This has been another great year of the Game Brew podcast. Next episode is our 100th episode.
100th episode.
Holy Moses. So that'll be a fun one. So stick with us. Be sure to join us. But that is it for us this evening. So time to say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Good night, everybody.